Korean fusion in Santa Clara.
Just so pretty, like every dish is like art.
Sips and salsa in San Jose.
Oh, yeah, so creamy.
And vegan bites in San Francisco.
Always leave room for dessert.
Just ahead on Check Please Bay Area.
A serious kick of a spice.
We call that a spank-a-spice.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Leslie Sabraco. Welcome to Check Please Bay Area, the show where regular Bay Area residents review and talk about their favorite restaurants. Now we have 3 guests and each one recommends one of their favorite spots and the other 2 go check them out to see what they think. Joining me at the Check Please table today are knowledge translation specialist Kim Sampson, high school Spanish teacher Liz Nodulis, and educator Carlos Rueda. Welcome, everyone. Woo! Up first is Liz. Growing up in Poland, she had pretty limited options when it came to dining out. But ever since she moved to the South Bay, her culinary world has expanded immensely. Her absolute favorite? An innovative Korean spot with a lively open kitchen and ever-changing prix menu that's full of surprises. In Santa Clara, it's Restaurant Gish.
Our restaurant name is Restaurant Gish.
So you get a little bit of a fish flavor, undertone of the rice.
We are a Korean restaurant. All the flavor are usually very familiar to Korean folks because of how they've grown up and so how we are grown up. But we do use French, Japanese, and Italian cooking techniques. We started pop-up in my studio on Gish Road in San Jose. And that's where we started our passion. And we named it after it so we don't forget where we started. We try to keep our menu secrets, so it's a little surprise for our guests. So until you come to our restaurant, you not know what you're going to have.
We always try to get a seasonal fruit or vegetable, and then we just focus about the taste. Start to acidic, some umaminess, and finish with the sweetness.
It's about us having fun. It's about whatever food. We have no boundary. Cooking, sourcing the ingredients, having them prepped is entertaining and most pleasurable for us. So we thought we should also share the experience with the guests. When we have a guest sit nearby us, we get to always interact with them. We can answer their questions. We can actually tell the story behind it, why we are cooking this food, or memories from our childhood about this food.
We can see the customer reaction directly in the kitchen. Yeah, so fun.
Yeah. The best part of it is when we serve the food, and we don't hear people talking. We only hear is clanking the forks on the plates. Yeah. When we have that moment, we knew that our food is doing okay. And we get most excited about it too.
Now, Liz, this is a discovery, isn't it? This is sort of tucked away. You know, you wouldn't necessarily just find this walking around on the streets, would you?
Not at all. You really have to look for it.
It's not easy to find.
You would definitely pass by.
You don't know what's there. You're like, is this real? What's happening here? You know? But then when you get there, you're like, oh, wow. Yeah, it's like a magical place.
Right. Yeah, and I went actually at night, and there was no lights in this little plaza that it's in, so I really had to just kind of drive past a few times, but then I saw some people going into this door, so I knew where it was at.
But then, as you said, once you get there, it's this open kitchen.
So I love the fact that you actually see the chef at work. You see how they prepare the dishes, the care that is put into every single dish. I also love the fact that you feel like you're at their home. You could see the jars on the shelves with marinated preserves that they work on throughout the year. You see vegetables hanging off the racks. So you're in their space and you're taken on a culinary adventure.
What do you get when you go?
So my first dish was the lamb loin tartare, which I loved because it had a variety of flavors and textures and colors. So on the top you have a dollop of cauliflower cream. Then the next layer is a mixture of the tartare, which is reddish and very soft, and you also have it mixed with Korean pear, which is cut in small squares, and it gives it a crunch and a little bit of tartness. Then the next layer is crunchy rice colored black. So you have all these different colors, and you can decide what's your adventure. Do you want to eat layer by layer, or do you want to mix it all up?
So I had the same thing, and I'd never had lamb tartare, so I was a little scared, and it was amazing. Yeah, the little cream on top was, it was just so puffy. It was delectable. Puffy. It was delectable, yes. And I actually really like the fact that it was a prix menu. I didn't have to think. I could just sit down, and once I had the first dish, I was like, oh, okay, everything else is going to be amazing.
All right. And Kim, what did you start with?
I had a first course. It was an heirloom apple salad with bitter greens and miso dressing, very crisp and light, and it's just so pretty. Like, every dish is like art. There's so many different colors with the radishes and the apples and the different types of greens, very light. And then the next course was actually a little bit more heartier. It was shrimp with pulled dough, and it had like an anchovy orange sauce. So bright colored red and orange right in front of you, but it was really nice, meaty, moist shrimp cooked perfectly. And I never had pulled dough before, and it was a really nice cultural experience for me. It was really nice.
Right.
The third course was a Cornish hen, and it said half. I'm not sure how big this bird was, because
typically they're small.
Typically they're small, not this
course.
one.
Yeah.
It was a big course.
Yeah.
I love the glaze on the hen, and it was sweet and also a little bit smoky, on the bed of cabbage, which was mixed with white mushrooms, and then there was rice with pieces of olive, and what tied everything together was a blood orange sauce, which was sweet and tangy.
They make amazing sauces over there.
They do.
Really good.
It was so good.
Very complex dishes.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, a lot
Different
of
flavors, colors.
Yeah, I was so impressed just by the presentation that I asked to speak to the chef. I was interested in how he was able to get it so moist and crunchy, and he let me know that they sear it, put it in the oven, and they would not serve anything until it was like perfect. You could just
you can
watch
see them inspect every little dish.
Oh yeah, and
Every
they were
dish,
just like hovering around all the dishes, and then when they brought it out, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I wanted more.
You know, sometimes when you have menus like this, they're just little bites, and you're going, oh, I want more, I want more, I want more.
Yes.
What was your feeling on that?
Well, I do always want more, but I know more is coming.
Exactly.
And it's amazing,
Yes.
because
Right.
then
And
we
you
get
don't
to
leave hungry.
dessert.
Oh, yeah.
Dessert.
Wow. Beautiful. Again,
Go
a work
ahead,
of art.
Kim, you start.
Yeah.
Oh, but what I had the white chocolate mousse, perfectly moist and rich, like kind of like condensed milk. I love that kind of flavor. And then it had different color citrus on top. It was really pretty. And then in between actually was a black pepper streusel, kind of a crumble in between with a nice crunch. All together, it was just melt in your mouth. Not too sweet either.
So for my dessert, I had the noranji ice cream. So you had a very thin wafer on top, which was sweet and crunchy. And so once you got through it, then you saw the dish. So you see this rice burnt ice cream mixed with puffed rice, slices of almonds. Then you had mochi, and you had edible flowers.
It was delicious. The crunchiness of the rice, the puff rice, and
It was puffy.
It was puffy. It was puffy. I love the puffy stuff. But we just went right through it. We wished we had more. That's one of the ones we were like, could we have more?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and this is not an inexpensive meal, right?
It's not inexpensive. I think it's more that it's so delicious you want more. It's not that you need more. It's that you want more. So I feel it's a great price point. So yeah, I'll be back. I love that place.
I think it was a great price for fine dining experience. For a romantic spot for two, I think it's an incredible deal, actually.
You can all say thank you to Liz.
I know.
Yes,
thank you. It was
thank you so
amazing
much.
find.
Glad you like it.
If you would like to try Restaurant Gish, it's located on Homestead Road in Santa Clara, and the average tab per person without drinks is around $90.
Oh, wow.
Smoky mezcal margaritas, crispy taquitos, and a happening fiesta hour are what bring Carlos back again and again to his modern Mexican eatery. Whenever he's nostalgic for the dishes he had growing up in Mexico City, he heads to San Jose's historic Alameda neighborhood, home of Zona Rosa.
The name of the restaurant is Zona Rosa. We are in the Rose Garden area, and it's a cute little neighborhood. I love collecting vintage things. I love old buildings. I love old architecture. So my dream was to open a place that's very different, eclectic, and it just turns out that's kind of how we are. So I grew up eating homemade pork tortillas. My grandmother, she would just make them by hand, and I always remember that feeling of having that taco that was amazing. And to me, that's what inspired me. We use the tortilla as our main vessel. and it's in every food item. Most of our tacos are not your traditional street tacos. They all have a little modern flair, so we felt like the whole menu needed to have that. I believe the secret to great carnitas is the slow cooking. And I remember growing up, my dad would make them in a big pot, fry them in their own fat, and then slow cook them. We definitely take our time in making them, and that's one of our most popular dishes. For sure, you got to have the salsas, and we make them all from scratch. We started off with the smoked cashew salsa, pumpkin seed, habanero, and then one traditional, which is my dad's recipe. I love flowers. I love setting the table. I love having candles, and that's what I always tell our staff, like, you're inviting someone to your home. For me, that experience is what sets us apart. The ambiance is great. The staff is amazing. But I do believe the food will bring you back.
So, Carlos, what is it about this restaurant that reminds you of growing up in Mexico City?
It's just the food and the way it's prepared, because this is a very typical neighborhood restaurant you might find in downtown Mexico City. And it just reminds me of when I was a kid eating taquitos and having carnitas and all that good stuff. But it's prepared in a more modern way as well.
So what do you get first when you go?
So I usually have a drink first.
Okay.
Can we talk about that?
Do you go to Fiesta Hour?
Yeah, we do go to Fiesta Hour.
I love $20 buys you a taco, a shot of tequila, and a beer.
That's right.
Fiesta Hour.
Yeah.
So start with the drinks.
Okay, so when you go there, you got to get the smoky mezcal at margarita. It's so good. And it's very strong, so I'm going to warn people, mezcal, if you've never had it, it's not tequila. And it's going to have...
Tequila is a mezcal, actually.
Yes.
But it's much smokier, it's much more powerful.
Yes, and it's got a bite, so sip it slowly, and then you can order some appetizers, which is what we did. We had the taquitos dorados, and the filling is actually potato, which is a very classic kind of street vendor taquito. And they come out with sour cream and guacamole, and it's just enough.
Delicious guacamole. Oh my gosh, so delicious.
So creamy.
Perfect amount of chunkiness in there.
So good.
Yeah, talk about that guacamole.
Yeah, and I actually had an addition, which is a pistachio matcha salsa. That added a little bit of nice smokiness with that oil. It was such a perfect complement to it. So good with the chips.
What I really loved about it was the fact that I had not only the chips, but I also had the bacon strips, which I had never seen before. So I could choose, do I want it more salty or... So I definitely love dipping the strips of bacon in my guacamole, and then
that's a brilliant idea.
Best of both worlds, right?
So I had the enchiladas de pollo. I love mole in any kind of shape and form. I know how much time and effort it takes to make it, and the mole that came out was great. I love the fact that I still had chips left, so I could dip them in that mole and just have a little extra dip. It came with 2 enchiladas, which had a lot of meat, and it was very lean. The only thing for me that they were a little too salty, but again, I love the mole, just probably would go for something else.
And do you get the enchiladas a lot?
I do. That's what I had the last time I was there. It was amazing. It comes out in a cazuela. There's only 2, but it's so filling. Yeah. But I usually will get the salmon tacos.
Delicious.
They're so good because they have a little bit of guacamole on the bottom. And then it's got the salmon on top. It's super crispy. And what I usually do is I ask for a lime, and I squeeze a lime on it.
And I really love how you get like a blue corn tortilla. Like that was very different. Yeah, there's so much variety of the seafood as well as meat. You have scallop, and I actually tried the shrimp tempura ones too. That was delicious. It was like a cilantro, aioli, the pickled onion. Very good.
I haven't tried that taco because I don't eat seafood. However, my husband had the Fiesta Hour special, which was a taco and
tequila and the beer.
But I had some of his taco. It was delicious. That one was carnitas. And I loved how guacamole was spread almost like butter on that tortilla. And then you had a lot of carnitas, which were actually not fatty. Sometimes they're too fatty. They were very good. Then there was a barbecue sauce, I believe, on it, and some slices of cabbage. I would definitely go back and have another taco.
And then I actually had the carnitas cazuela, It comes on top of black beans and white rice. They bake it, and they use cinnamon and cloves. So it's got a very strong,
earthy and
clovey flavor. It comes out with corn tortillas. I made a taco. I asked for my lime, and it was amazing. So you got to get the lime.
Yeah.
So I tried the hibiscus margarita. So beautiful. All their drinks are actually really beautiful. Kind of an Art Deco kind of feel. It had a nice little chili salt rim and like a purple orchid in there. Really pretty, delicious but strong, but really good. Yeah. And then I also tried the horchata. Because I love a good horchata.
Nice.
And it was actually an almond horchata, which is very rare because usually it's rice-based. So my friend actually ordered one to go. It was so good, perfectly spiced with the cinnamon, and it was so good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And now let's talk desserts. Okay, what did you have, Liz?
Well, I had buñuelos, and what I actually loved the most about it is the horchata ice cream.
That's the best part. Yes, my friend, I loved it.
So good.
So flavorful.
Amazing.
Yeah, the combo with the ice cream, I think it was a pumpkin buñuelo.
Yeah.
And when you cut into it, all the steam comes out, and then it melts with the ice cream. Oh, the combo was awesome.
What did you feel about the service there when you went?
So I didn't really have a reservation. I came in, so I was lucky enough because I know that they get very busy. And we got set by the bar, and it seemed like at times they were sort of forgetting about us. So maybe it was an off night. I did like the ambience. I loved the music that was playing. I'm a big fan of Luis Miguel, and I kept singing along.
Cool.
The bar is beautiful, actually. Beautiful ambiance. You can just go there just for a drink and an appetizer. It'd be great.
It's your place.
If you would like to try Zona Rosa, it's located on the Alameda in San Jose, and the average tab per person without drinks is around $40. And now, Kim's pick. When her boyfriend first took her there, she was skeptical. Could an all-vegan menu be both satisfying and full of flavor? Well, after just one try, she was hooked, finding plenty of plant-based dishes to tempt her taste buds. Located in San Francisco's Cow Hollow, it's Wildseed.
The name Wildseed sort of matches with our concept, right? It's a little bit fun and irreverent, maybe a newer experience that you might not have had when eating plant-based food for maybe the first time.
Our goal is to get as many people as possible interested in the cuisine, and by being focused globally, it allows us to draw inspiration from all over. We do use a lot of plant-based alternatives for typical things that you might find on the menu. A little bit of our coconut bacon. For our coconut bacon, we take coconut chips and we toss that in a mixture of liquid smoke, tamari, paprika, and some other seasonings, and then we slowly roast it until it's nice and crispy. Because there are no what you might call center of the plate proteins here, there's a lot of little pieces and finishes and touches that go into every dish.
We're both a neighborhood institution where people will come from their yoga classes for happy hour, or you can come in with your whole family on a busy Saturday night and enjoy our cocktails. So we're here to serve everyone. I recently found out that I am not supposed to be eating gluten and dairy, and Wildseed is really helping me find my footing in that sense. I have all of these things in front of me that I get to try.
For me, the joy of being here is seeing people leave happy, and also to offer a bridge for people who aren't vegan to come and experience great food as well, and maybe get them leaning that way a little bit.
All right, Kim, you're not vegan.
No, I'm not.
What was it about going to an all-vegan restaurant that you sort of went, I'm not sure?
Yeah, I mean, typically, it's far and few spots, around the Bay Area, it's completely vegan. And sometimes I get scared of it's just going to be a soy patty or just a salad. And I want a little bit more variety, a little bit more texture, a little bit more richness to a lot of the foods. And so Wildseed just hit the spot for me.
So what dishes do you usually start with?
Well, I usually like to share the mezzi plate with others that are with me. And you get a nice Mediterranean variety there. You get a little bit of a white bean hummus, a little bit of the baba ganoush, you get a little bit of the coconut feta, and a nice quinoa salad. Oh, and don't forget the flatbread. The seeded flatbread is delicious. We usually ask for extra, so yeah,
all right.
Good.
We started with the polenta, which was really interesting. Vegan polenta with a cream sauce and a sage seasoning. So I'm not vegan. I don't know too much about the vegan foods. And it was interesting. We liked the polenta. The cream was a must. It was just so smooth, and then that little hint of sage just really topped it off nicely.
Okay.
So I started with salada andalusia.
That's my favorite salad. Yeah, delicious.
There are so many different colors and textures in a salad. So you have this bright green, crunchy and fresh lettuce. Then you have dropped red peppers. You have bacon, which is actually coconut bacon.
So delicious, right?
Then you have this cheese that it's supposed to look like blue cheese. However, at first I didn't want to eat it because I don't like blue cheese. And then my husband was like, "This is not blue cheese." I'm like, "I forgot."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So tons of different colors, and it's a very big dish for you to share with a special someone.
The servings were huge. So the meatball masala was so good. They were very mushroom forward, if you will, and very crunchy. But the tzatziki sauce on the side was so fresh and creamy, and it gave it this freshness when it coated the meatball.
I loved that it was take on falafels, and then I also loved the carrots that were there.
Yeah, the pickled carrots, nice little tang to it.
With the sesame on top that was burned, and then kale and the grains. So again, there were so many components, and the masala sauce, of course.
Coconut masala sauce, very creamy. Yeah.
Because you're a meat eater, right?
Yeah, I am a meat eater. I don't really tend to go to vegan spots, but I'm really grateful that I was
it's pretty hearty and filling itself. Yeah. I also love their spicy sausage pizza.
Oh, I had that too.
It's a must. They usually have different flavors depending on the season, but that's usually kind of a staple year-round. I love the jackfruit sausage. It's very meaty and hearty, and then you get a nice Calabrian chili, a little bit of coconut parmesan. I think it's the perfect sauce to cheese ratio on that pizza, and it's just so delicious. Very thin crust. I get it every time.
I love the crust.
Yes,
to me, you know, if the dough and the crust are not good, then everything else doesn't really matter to me.
Okay.
We moved on to the yellow curry, and it was amazing because it had so many vegetables.
Yes,
right? Potato.
You should put eggplant there too.
Yes, the eggplant was amazing, and a lot of the coconut milk flavor was there. But it had a spice that snuck up on you that I loved. So this was my favorite dish because it was so sneaky. I was eating it, and it was a cold night, and it warmed me up, but then it had like a serious kick of a spice. Like
we call that a spank-a-spice.
Yeah, it was like, I was like, oh, this is nice.
And the cocktail program is something as well because they make their own tinctures and own fruit juices and mixtures.
Yeah, all their drinks are beautiful, very like Instagram-worthy kind of drinks, different colors, pretty glasses.
I had something called the salt and pepper, which was really good. It was also mezcal, and it had a lemonade, and I thought it was going to have more of a strong kick, but it was more on the lemonade refreshing side, which I enjoyed.
I actually enjoy their non-alcoholic beverage side. They have a golden turmeric latte, really pretty golden yellow color. Spicy, a lot of cardamom, cinnamon, a little bit of black pepper in there. Really delicious.
And dessert? Go ahead, Liz.
Do you have to say it again?
Dessert menu is so good.
I missed the dessert. We were too stuffed. I was so stuffed.
Oh my God.
You always leave room for dessert.
Oh, I messed up.
That's all right. These
Don't worry, we got you covered. We got you covered.
Well, I had the vanilla coconut panna cotta. And what I loved about it is that it was very well set, chilled, and then it was on a bed of blackberry jam. And then there were pistachios there as well, and fresh strawberries. And they kind of gave it a little bit of tartness so that it's not too sweet. Amazing dish.
My go-to every time, hands down, is a warm beet and banana chocolate cake. It's a must for me. You get a banana that's like bruleed on top. You can actually break the top of that banana. You get a nice warm chocolate cake that's warm in the middle and melted. And then there's like an avocado chocolate ganache. And the highlight for me is actually the chocolate vegan gelato, which is really good altogether.
So did you enjoy the vegan meal?
It was at first kind of tough, but then I got into it. I needed a lot of help, but the servers were so nice. They came out, they explained every dish. So,
branch out.
And it's healthy. And it's healthy too.
It's healthy. It's good for
And they feature ingredients that are in season. So this is one of my favorite things. And they actually will tell you on the menu, this is what's in season right now. So that is something that guided my decision as to what I'm going to order.
So you would go back?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, if you would like to try Wildseed, it's located on Union Street in San Francisco, and the average tab per person without drinks is around $35. Looking for more Bay Area bites you've just got to try? So check out Cecilia Tries It online at kqed.org/checkplease. I have to thank my raucous guests on this week's show. Kim Sampson, who never passes up the neat balls at Wildseed in San Francisco. Liz Nodulis, who loves dining counterside at Restaurant Gish. And Carlos Rueda, who sips the smoky margaritas at Zona Rosa in San Jose. Join us next time when 3 more guests will recommend their favorite spots right here on Check Please Bay Area. I'm Leslie Sabraco, and I'll see you then. Cheers, everyone, and cheers to you, rock and rock guests. Which of these restaurants do you want to try? We're eager to hear about your experiences at any of the places we've featured. So keep in touch with us online. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at KQED Food. You'll find our brand new interactive restaurant map and catch up on all the episodes you've missed at kqed.org/checkplease.
Check Please Bay Area is made possible by the members of KQED and by...
It's going to my doctor.
Without actually going.
Graham's Port has been family-owned and operated for over 200 years, available at vintageandfinewines.com or your local fine wine retailer.
Fog Harbor Fish House is a local family-owned restaurant offering sweeping views of the San Francisco Bay. Fog Harbor serves fresh, 100% sustainable seafood featuring specialties including roasted shellfish platters, cioppino, and oysters. Located at Pier 39 in San Francisco, reserve at fogharbor.com.
The Bay Area airport that's close and reliable. iFlyOAK.com.
Aboard Oceania Cruises, our guests savor every moment of the journey. Half of our staff and crew is dedicated to the culinary experience. Our chefs are inspired by the flavors of the world and committed to perfecting fine dining at sea. That's Oceania Cruises.
The tzatziki sauce.
Tzatziki.
Tzatziki.
See, I hope you got his face. This is for the blooper reel. Because your face looking at me was like,
that's not it.
It's coming out, but it's not coming out right.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry. How do you say it?
Tzatziki.
Tzatziki.
Nailed it.